Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old ways, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us. You know, sometimes you just need a couple biscuits for breakfast or maybe just for supper. And it's been a while since I've done cooking for two, and I get a lot of response from my cooking for two because a lot of my subscribers, a lot of y'all are like me, Mr. Brown, and most of the time, especially during the week, you're just cooking for two people, or maybe you're just cooking for one. And these recipes cooking for two are very good for cooking for one too, because it's just enough for you to have maybe a leftover for the next day. But sometimes Mr. Brown, he likes to get up and make breakfast. And I usually don't eat over but maybe one biscuit, y'all. It just depends on what we have. And he might eat probably 2 or 3. So about 4 biscuits is about all we need. So having a little recipe like this to make just a little batch of biscuits, I mean, it's good. And even not just people my age, but even younger people that maybe are on their own in college, or they're just starting out and it's just them, or just a married couple just starting out and there's just 2. So this is a really good recipe, and we love biscuits. So we're just going to start out with a cup of all-purpose flour. Now this is not my fresh milled flour. This is some that I had bought in bulk last year, and I'm still using it. I keep it in 2 big food safe buckets, and I'm still using it for just when I need a little bit of flour especially. So we just got 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And we're going to go ahead and put about a half a tablespoon of baking powder. A half a tablespoon. Now I usually don't put baking soda in my biscuits, but if you do, it does give your biscuits a really good consistency too. And you're going to need about 1/4 of a teaspoon is all you need of baking soda. And I need a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to kind of mix that dry ingredients up. Not only is this good for just most of the time, I mean, there's a lot of times that we like to have leftovers, and there's just sometimes that we don't need it, and we don't need to every day constantly put stuff up in the freezer, because you get to the point you don't have no freezer space. Now I do love cooking a big pot of beans and having it left over, stuff like that. I mean, I grew up, that's the way we always ate. And I would love to do a video of a week's worth of what it's really like, back in the day, what it was really like to eat what they call frugal meals now, because you would be really surprised at what we didn't have and how we ate, especially people nowadays. So we're going to take just 2 tablespoons of shortening. I'm using fresh lard that I've got. 2 tablespoons is about 1/8 of a cup. If you don't have fresh lard and you're looking for some fresh lard, of course we got ours from having a couple of hogs processed, but find your nearest meat processor and go in there and ask them for some good fresh fat. I've also got quite a bit of beef tallow that I need to render down. What I do is I usually just freeze it, my beef tallow, which is beef fat, that's cut off the bone and the meat. And I just cut it up in pieces and I freeze it. And when I need just to, you know, fry something up that I don't mind having that beefy flavor, I just take a little piece out of the freezer and throw it in my skillet. So I'm taking 2 tablespoons of my lard and I'm just going to work it into my flour. I've got 1/3 of a cup, I'm sorry, 3 ounces. 3 ounces of buttermilk, or you can use just regular milk that you put a little bit of vinegar in, or you can just use regular milk. And I'm just going to pour just a little bit at a time. And this should make 4 biscuits. I hope y'all had a really wonderful weekend. It was really nice here in Arkansas. Northeast Arkansas was really nice. I know a lot of y'all got a lot of rain. We haven't got much rain. It just keeps missing us, which means that I hope that's not a reflection of what it's going to be like this summer, because it really worries me when the spring starts out really dry that we're going to have a dry summer. The pond is not full. It's not got a whole lot of water in it right now. But just gather your biscuit dough up till it all comes together. You might not use all that 3 ounces of milk, but you just kind of gather it up just like you would a big batch of biscuits. And Mr. Brown can whip these up pretty easy, no more ingredients that's in it. I'm showing them how to make a small batch of biscuits. It makes 4 biscuits. Because a lot of people don't need, you know.
Are you saying I only need 2 biscuits?
Well, I only eat 1 biscuit, so you can have 3. But when you're here by yourself and you're just wanting a few biscuits, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put a little bit more flour on there where it's not so sticky, and I'm just going to work it just a little bit, not too much. So it's about that easy.
There you are.
About that fast for just a couple of biscuits. I'm going to get my pan greased up. I make a mess no matter what I do.
You're a messy gomer.
So did you figure the spark plugs out?
Yeah, I got the gap right.
Let's see, what year model is my Yukon?
2004.
2004 Yukon, and it's still going, y'all. The good thing of it is it's paid for.
That's good.
And for us driving over this gravel road, it really does a good job. We don't need no little big sissy car or anything like that driving over this mess. Let's see. We live a mile back on the gravel road, mile and a half.
Mile and a half.
Mile and a half. I'm just gonna grease my biscuit pan here.
With good old lard.
Good old lard. We don't have a whole lot of fresh lard left. Now we're also going to be making apple crisp for two. For just two people. So we're just going to, what I'm going to do to make sure my biscuits are about the same size. I'm just going to take a knife and cut it in fours. That work?
Cut it in fourths.
Fours.
Fourths.
Fours. Yeah, cut it in fourth. And in fours.
Fourths.
Fours.
TH.
Whatever. So I'm just taking.
You can say cut it in four.
Okay, thank you. Just making me some biscuits. Okay, that didn't take too long. I was talking more than I was making biscuits, wasn't I? I'm going to put them close together because they'll rise. Now, he would rather have a thinner biscuit, really.
You can flatten mine out.
So we're going to put these in a 350 oven. Let them cook for about 10-12 minutes. And you got yourself a little batch of biscuits.
Yippee.
So you can do that pretty quick.
I've made biscuits a few times.
A few times, ain't you?
I ain't made four though.
Well, you know, it's just like them little cans of biscuits that you buy at the store.
I got five.
Huh?
You got five?
Is there? Yeah, there's 5 in there. And I looked at them the other day, and I don't know about the operating, but the others were. I mean, even the little 5 was over $1 for a little can. So that's kind of ridiculous. So anyways, we're going to get this in the oven, and when they get done, we'll be back, and we'll taste our little batch of biscuits. Okay, let's check our biscuits. I turned them over a while ago, so it's getting brown on the bottom. But they're good and done now. So there you are, biscuits for two. Kind of rustic looking, but that's okay. They're going to eat just like if you rolled them out, and they're all, you know, pretty and shaped up. But they're light, and they're going to be good. Put you some butter and some honey or jelly on here, or some gravy. There you go, little batch of biscuits just for two. You know, sometimes you just have to get away. You have to get away from the rat race. Go and relax. Go somewhere that is calming and that you love. Where you can just sit back and just be with nature. Out of the rat race. Well, here we are back, and this is our second recipe for two, and it is an apple crisp. Me and Miss Brown love apple crisp, especially with a big dollop of vanilla ice cream on it. But we don't need a big one. We just, you know, in moderation, and we don't want a bunch left over. So this is an excellent recipe. So all you got to have is 2 apples. And you know, I never get particular about my apples. A lot of people think that you got to have certain apples to do certain things. I say buy the apples that you can afford and cook with them or eat them, either one. Because the way groceries are, and do this during when apples are coming off, And that's even better. So I'm just taking 2 regular size apples. And this is a good thing to do if you got some apples that are kind of getting doty on you and they're just about on the verge of not being no good. Make you a peach cobbler, or a peach cobbler, an apple cobbler, or a crisp out of it. I don't know where peach come from. I do love peach cobbler though. It's one of my favorites. But I'm just going to take my apples and I'm just cutting them up kind of thin. You can leave them in big chunks or you can cut them in half. That's the way I like to do it. I've got a 6-inch skillet. You don't have to use a skillet. You can use a baking dish. And this will work in an 8-inch. If you don't have a 6, I mean, it might not fill it up, you know, as well. But if an 8 is all you got, then you can make it work. We made so many different crisps in the lunchroom years ago, because we would get a lot of fruit through commodities. And those of y'all that worked in a school cafeteria, y'all know about all the different stuff you used to get, and you had to use it up. So we had crisps. We made crisps probably about pretty much every week till we got caught up using, you know, a lot of them fruits. It was canned apples. Sometimes we would get cherry and peaches, just different things, but it was usually canned apples from commodity, and that went into making a lot of crisp. So there we go. We got our 2 apples cut up, and I'm just going to put them in the bottom of my little skillet here. You know what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I've got just a little bit of cinnamon and sugar in here, and I'm just going to put some over my, let me get a spoon, over my apples, just a little bit. Especially if you find that your apples aren't very sweet. You don't need a whole lot. And I'm just going to put them in the bottom. Now I buttered the bottom of my skillet. I'm just going to kind of lay it around there. Just like that. Okay, now what you need for your top is, let's see, this is 1/4 of a cup of oats, old-fashioned oats. If all you got is quick oats, go ahead and use it. This right here is 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, packed. And we've got 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. And I will have both these recipes down below this video, down below the title of the video. You'll see the word more if you're on if you're on your phone or regular computer, and you click on more, and then recipes and all my information comes down. So we've got 1/4 a cup of oats, 1/4 a cup of all-purpose flour, 1/3 a cup of brown sugar, and 1/4 a cup of chopped up pecans. I'm just going to use my hands right now. My hands are clean. Now I'm going to go ahead, and even though I had to put a little bit of cinnamon on my apples, I'm going to put about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon in my topping too. I don't need this salt. I'm using salted butter, but you can use unsalted butter if you want to. 2 tablespoons of butter, softened. It don't have to be melted, just softened. And let me get me a fork. Now I've got a video making a regular size apple crisp, and it's delicious. It's as delicious as this one's going to be. But you know, everybody's been commenting, wanting me to do some more of my cooking for 2. So I try to go back and forth and try to, you know, do all the different recipes that people are asking me. It is getting time for gardening. I'm telling you, last night we had just a little bit of frost. So I didn't get in no hurry this year to get a bunch of tomatoes and stuff like that out, because you'll find yourself so sad when frost gets everything you just put out. So I just kind of slow down and take my time. I had planted a bunch of flower seeds, and a bunch of them, all my zinnias are coming up, and they have become my favorite flower, cut flower. So I planted them everywhere this year. I'm going to be planting some more medicinal seeds, and I'm going to do a video on that soon. All of my cold weather plants, like my broccoli and cabbage, and my cauliflower is not looking, I mean, it's okay, but it's kind of stunted. It's like it's just stuck there. But let's see, my Brussels sprouts look really good. I don't have any Brussels sprouts on yet, but they're looking good. Of course, my lettuces and kale, and let's see, I got carrots coming up, and a lot of my herbs that I had planted. My garden sage has been out there for going on 5 years, and it stays out there all winter, and it just comes back in full force during spring, and it just looks beautiful. So I'm about to get this mixed up. I kind of put it in a wrong kind of bowl to be mixing it, but we're getting there. My oven, I'm going to set it about 350, and it should cook probably about 30 minutes or so. Okay. Got an apple on the floor that fell, and I'll keep stepping on it. So we're just going to take our topping and crumble it over the top. This is going to be so good. I haven't made a apple crisp in a while, and I don't know why, especially making a small batch just for me and Mr. Brown. You know, a lot of times I just won't make a lot of, you know, sweets during the week, especially because, for one thing, I'm not here during the day, and it just goes to waste if I make a whole big recipe. So usually if y'all see me doing a cake or pies and stuff like that, it's usually for the weekend when I know people will be here to eat it. But I tell you what I do have a recipe for lemon meringue pie for just 2. It's just enough for 2 people, and I will be doing that. Okay, we got our crumble on there. We're going to stick it in a 350 oven, and then we'll see how long it takes to cook. And then we'll come back and we'll check it out. So there it is. Apple crisp for 2. And I'll tell you what, I could probably eat half of that, but I won't. So there'll be just enough for Mr. Brown, me, a little bit tonight after supper, and then he can have some tomorrow while I'm at work. He can have him some leftover apple crisp. Here in this boat on this lake is where I need to be to get my peace and not get burned out. It's just where we like to be. Well, there is our apple crisp. And it took about 35 minutes in my oven at 350. You just have to keep an eye on it till it gets good and brown on top, and you can tell when you feel it that it's getting kind of crispy and crunchy on top, and you can tell it's done. So there you go. You've got a little batch of biscuits and a little bitty apple crisp just for two. These are good recipes. They taste wonderful. There's no waste. It's frugal. And it's good for just two. Or even one. And then you can have a little bit of leftover. I hope y'all like these recipes. I love doing this cooking for two. Mr. Brown's outside still working on my Yukon, y'all. It just seems like there's something all the time. But if y'all would like for me to do some more cooking for two, just let me know down in the comments, because I love doing these recipes. Just like I do my regular recipes. Because with it just being me and Mr. Brown most of the time, these little recipes really have become my favorite. Unless I'm cooking for a bunch of people, and I love to cook, y'all. So, he wasn't in here to taste the biscuits yet, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to wrap them up and save them for him is what I'm going to do. And then, this apple crisp is going to be good with just a little bit of ice cream on it. And I may even taste it right now. It's not a real thick apple crisp. It's a thin, and some of the apples that didn't get covered up, they're cooked, but they're kind of looks like a dried apple. But it's got the pecans in it, the brown sugar, and just looks delicious. This is one of my favorite things to eat, y'all. It's so good. You just can't hardly beat it. So, if y'all liked my recipes, give me a thumbs up. I'll be back in a couple of days. I'm not sure if I'll be doing a recipe or something to do with the garden or just talking. What do y'all want us to do? Do y'all want us to sit around and talk to you? Because we can do that too. We absolutely love to sit around and to talk to y'all. I hope someday that maybe when I get retired and I got more time, maybe me and Mr. Brown will do a live show and where y'all can talk to us. We've never done one. I'm just kind of iffy on the live stuff. I don't watch them much, but it's something that I might do pretty soon. So y'all let me know about that too. So y'all have a wonderful week. If you can, if you got good weather, you can get out there in the garden, take your shoes off. Get them toes in that dirt. Get them hands in that dirt. I believe in what they call grounding. I believe when you put your feet down on that ground and you get into that earth, and it does something for you. It does something for your body. It makes you feel good. So don't worry about getting your feet and your hands dirty. Do it, because I guarantee you when you get out there and you spend time with the good Lord and out there with your hands in the dirt that He created, you're going to feel so much better. So we love y'all. God loves you. And we'll see y'all in a few days.